Hello, good morning. I hope that everybody is well. Well, I'm coming to you today with my grandma head on. Our family are with us for a couple of days and the boys have really enjoyed the beach and our garden and we've had a wonderful time with them. And the weather is glorious, so it lends itself to, being on the beach, being out on their bikes, playing with their footballs in the garden. It was the first time that Hugo has ever known anybody to stay in our house. Because of lockdown, we haven't been having visitors, and this is the first time the family have been able to come down because they're from Wales and there was different COVID regulations in Wales. And he has loved the boys, and it hasn't fazed him having all this noise and commotion in the house. He's such a sweet, well-rounded boy. He takes his lead from Bertie. Right, so this week, it is so upsetting when you listen to the news or you read the newspaper. My heart goes out to so many people at the moment. Afghanistan, it is, well, I'm not going to go there except to say that my heart goes out to so many people. Australia and New Zealand. Sandra in Australia, I talk to Sandra practically every day, and more often than not, more than once a day. And lockdown is getting to be very hard, and COVID is getting to be more and more of a threat. I'm so sorry that our stitching sisters in the Southern Hemisphere are starting to experience lockdown in the same way as we experienced lockdown in the United Kingdom, where you were confined to your homes and very restricted in what you're allowed to do. It's a scary time. For me, when we were in, those really strict lockdowns, my needle was just so important to me. It kept my sanity. It kept me from spiralling. I hope that you can all find comfort and companionship in your needle as well. We've had a flurry of orders come in from Australia, where I know that many people are going to say, well, okay, if we're stuck in our homes, we're going to make good use of our time. For those of you who need something quickly to stitch, don't forget there are many instant PDF downloads available on our website. I hope your needle will bring you comfort. What's happened this week? Well, I have been so busy packing and preparing the orders to ship for Eliza Martha Linfoot. Now, this sampler officially releases on the 31st of August. Because of my family being down, my time is restricted over this period. So I started early this week preparing everything to ship out. All our international orders left on Friday, for those who have paid for their pre-order. All our UK needleworkers, your orders left yesterday. Because Monday is a national holiday and there is no post delivery, you should receive your booklets on the 31st of August. And I hope that our European customers will receive their booklets in a matter of days. And for those further afield in the USA, in Canada, in the South Americas, in Africa, and in the Southern Hemisphere, that you will receive yours maybe the beginning of the following week. Not this week coming, the following week. And I can't wait to see you posting your booklets on social media. This is such a beautiful sampler, and the stitch along is going to be fabulous. We had great fun with the Jane Fidder stitch along. Sherry was the most amazing stitch along leader, and we're going to have that same fun again. Now, On the original Eliza, this basket is satin stitched and stem stitched, and these flower centres are satin stitch. I have recharted this basket and these flower heads, and if you go on to Eliza's web page on the Hands Across the Sea Samplers website, under the main photos and the close-up photos, there is a row of tabs. Just click on the tab that refers to the cross-stitch adaptation, and you will find the graphs for this area in cross-stitch and backstitch, and for the flower centres in cross-stitch as well. And that makes this sampler entirely cross-stitch over 2 threads with a little bit of backstitch to define the basket. So you can stitch this sampler on Ada or Lineda if you want. Hands Across the Sea samplers, we really try to make hats inclusive, not exclusive. Not all our samplers can be stitched on Ada, and we haven't made all of them available, but we are really trying to make as many as possible available to stitch on linen, Lineda and Ada, so that everybody can join in. Such a beautiful sampler. I really, really love this one. And we wanted to keep this one for something special, because this is a special sampler. I know that the sponsoring stores, the Attic, Needleworks, Needle in a Haystack, Traditional Stitches and A Stitch in Time are very, very busy packing orders. For me, the only orders that haven't shipped are those that are still waiting for payment, and everybody has received now an invoice. So look in your PayPal account and you will see that there is an invoice waiting to be paid, and as soon as that's paid, your order will ship. Now the booklet, this booklet is beautiful. I had great fun putting it together. It comes with some background information, and the chart is really kind on the eye. Being able to see your graphs is very, very important to us. You have the centrefold, and then you have the thread legend on the back, and this thread legend will become live on the Hats website on August the 31st. We've provided a Soie d'Alger conversion and a DMC conversion. The original sampler was stitched in a Vera Soie 103. It comes with the bookmark with the thread legend, and it comes with the label for you to put on the back of your sampler. For everybody who participates in the stitch along and stitches Eliza and finishes her within the stitch along year, will be entered into the draw to win this original sampler. And this is Harriet Godhard, and Harriet's stitched her sampler or finished her sampler in 1817. That's such a long time ago, and it is such a beautiful sampler. Somebody's going to win this next year. I wonder who it will be. Will it be you? You never know. Somebody has to win these samplers. Here is our reproduction of Harriet's sampler, and this has been so popular. Leona, who is one of our long-standing model stitchers for Hands Across the Sea samplers, she finished her Harriet this week and posted a photograph on social media. Harriet looks so beautiful. Congratulations, Leona, on a beautiful finish, and congratulations to everybody who now has Harriet hanging on their sampler wall. I wish this one was going to hang on my wall, but Linda stitched the model, and Harriet will shortly be going back to Linda. Stitching wise, Well, I'm really into Esther's sampler. This has been such an enjoyable stitch. The colours on this sampler are absolutely amazing. They're colourful, but they're soft. I keep on thinking of rhubarb and custard when I look at this sampler. It's the colours. Now, I am here, and what I'm currently doing is adding the second sawtooth border around the edge, but with the family here I can't stitch. I want to spend the evenings with them, interacting with the boys, and of course when you're stitching you tend to switch off a little bit. Now I actually think this sample looks really beautiful with the single sawtooth border, but because it's a reproduction I'm adding the second one. And how I stitched my satin stitch, I've always been a believer in only having one strand of thread on your needle at a time. I prefer to do multiple passes to get the coverage that I want with one thread than do one pass with two threads. How I tackled this, I stitched the sawtooth border with one pass all the way around, making sure that my border met up, which it did, and then I went back around, adding a second pass where necessary, and sometimes if there was a slub or a slightly thicker thread, I may have added a third pass or even a diagonal stitch to cross over the extra thick thread and then another stitch over it. Satin stitch, the beauty in satin stitch is the smooth finish and the complete coverage of that stitch. It just looks like polished metal, like a mirror. That's the beauty of satin stitch for me. And by having the freedom to go back over, smoothing out your finish and giving proper coverage without it bunching up, it just makes that difference to the finish on your satin stitches. Have a go, try it. You can see here I was experimenting before I started to stitch the sawtooth border. I wanted to work out whether to come from the top to the bottom or from the bottom to the top, how my silk sat better, and I decided that the best way for me to stitch it was to do this inside border, and I actually worked from the top to the bottom. So on the pyramid of the sawtooth, my needle was coming up through the fabric at the top and going down. It just sat so much better. And what I did, I turned my frame around as I was working this border, so that my angle of my needle was coming in the same way, no matter whether I was stitching the top, the bottom, the left side or the right side. It makes a difference. Isn't she pretty? I can't wait to have this one on my wall. I think this one's going to go in my bedroom. It's such a pretty sampler. I always keep the walls of my bedroom for those special samplers. A little bit of news. Mary Clayton. She went out of stock. There was a mass run of orders. I think there must be a little stitch along going on Mary, but she's now back in stock. Then, another print run came this week, so everybody who was waiting for her booklets, they have shipped now. This is such a pretty sampler. I enjoyed stitching this one as well. If you're at the Attic Needleworks, you'll actually see Mary on display at the attic. Oh, right, okay. New colours from Overa Soie. These are the new Soie Surfine colours. These are the new 103 colours. Beautiful. And I'm going to insert a list of those numbers in the description. So when you're on YouTube, if you click the description below the video, these numbers will appear. One of the lovely things about the Overa Soie d'Alger, Overa Soie 103 and the Overa Soie Surfine range, it means that if you were stitching, say, a sampler over 40 count with Soie d'Alger and you came to some over 1, you can switch to the corresponding colour in the Soie 103. And if you're stitching, say, on 46 count or 56 count or 5262 with the Soie 103, when you come to the over 1, you can switch to the Surfine because it's finer than the 103. And it's really lovely that you get, you know, the corresponding colours. This is a new colour in the Soie Surfine, and it's a beautiful colour. I recognise this colour from Hermes scarves. The fashion industry dictate the colours that are in this range because the Soie 103, the Soie Surfine, it is a fashion range of silks. So this beautiful, beautiful colour has just come out in the 103, and there is now a corresponding colour in the Soie Surfine as well. We are so blessed to have these wonderful products to work with. My day is enhanced when I have my needle and my silks in my hand and I'm able to stitch. There are also in the new colours, you have the these two are new colours in both ranges. Really great. Okay, I know it's only a quick video, but I can hear elephants running around upstairs, and that's the boys getting ready. It'll be wet towels on the floor and smelly trainers, but you know, it's so lovely to have them here. I really, really do not mind. I know it's a quickie, I'm so sorry. I will try to have more content in my video next week. Stay safe, stay well, and if God is kind, I'll be back next weekend with another Flosstube. Bye-bye.